Good morning, Ohio. It's James Lewis from This Dream House. Jackson Stevens from Frozen and Friends Disney on Ice. So, Jackson, tell us, what do you got going on?
Well, Disney on Ice presents Frozen is everything that everyone knows and loves from the film Frozen, brought to life in front of them. We bring everyone's favorite characters and their favorite songs, and we really bring everyone into Arendelle. We build the set right from the ground up in every city that we play, and really bring the audience to make them feel like they're a part of the story.
Oh, wow, that sounds awesome. And, of course, our listeners are in Ohio, so we have a Cincinnati show coming up soon, March 7th through 10th, and we got a Columbus show the 17th through the 21st.
Yeah, that Columbus date is in April, actually, as well.
Oh, you're right.
It'll be a little
April,
bit spread out. Lots of
you.
opportunities for people to see the show.
Exactly. So if they can't make it to one, they make it to the other. So tell us about growing up in Canada.
Well, I mean, I have a little bit of an unorthodox entry into this show skating world. A lot of people in the show, I mean, we have incredibly talented people that have been skating competitively most of their lives, and that really shows in the performance. But I grew up playing hockey. I mean, I'm from Canada. I grew up just outside Toronto. I idolized the Toronto Maple Leafs. And my entire life, I played competitive hockey until I was about 20 years old. And I put on figure skates for the first time with the express goal of coming to Disney on Ice. And, you know, through no less than a small series of miracles, I'm sure, I managed to achieve that goal. And this is my 8th year now, so I absolutely love it.
Wow, that is remarkable. Yeah, I was going to say, to be able to put a goal like that out there and be able to achieve it. So at what age did you start skating? I can imagine quite young since you were from Canada.
Yeah, I was probably 3 or 4, honestly. I was really, really young, and there's photographic evidence, I'm sure, of me on just small makeshift skates on a backyard rink. And I remember skating on backyard rinks a lot growing up, and that's kind of a great place for young people to learn, and it's just part of my childhood, I guess.
Excellent. So with hockey, were offense, defense, goalie, what was your main position?
I grew up, when I was very, very young, I played offense. I was a goal scorer somehow. And then when I kind of hit my teenage years, I switched over to defense. I'm a bigger guy, so I was able to kind of to stay positionally on other players and play physically, which, you know, is a skill that did not translate over to the figure skating world. But
yeah, I can imagine there's not too many floor checks that you have to do on Disney on Ice.
Yeah, it's actually frowned upon now, so I have to be careful with it.
Excellent. So you mentioned you'd done ice skating at a young age for hockey purposes, but who really coached you up into an ice skater?
I was kind of lucky, and the environment in the show skating world with Disney on Ice, anyways, has been really supportive. So initially, it was my sister who took me out onto the ice for the first time. When I was growing up playing hockey, she was growing up figure skating, so she was eager to watch me learn initially. I think mostly to watch me fall on my face a lot, which I did constantly. So I'm sure she enjoyed that. But then once I was able to kind of get into to Disney on Ice and to the cast, I mean, the cast and crew and in particular my performance director have been very, very encouraging and very nurturing of the skill set that I have. And really, I would be just a small fraction of the skater I am now without anyone else's help. So I owe a lot of thanks to a lot of people.
What characters do you play in the show?
I'm an ensemble skater, so I get to be in a lot of the different group numbers in our show, which is exciting. But most notably, I get to perform as the role of Flynn Rider in our opening number, because our opening and finale numbers have a lot of different cameos from different characters in the Disney universe.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I was going to say that must make it more interesting to be able to play a variety of characters as opposed to just emphasizing one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and in that sense, there's something for everyone with the show. If Frozen was never your favorite film with Disney, and you know, maybe you're a little hesitant, there's something for everyone here. We have everyone's favorite characters, lots of cameos, and lots of fun.
Excellent. Let's see. Do you have any pre-game rituals that you do?
It's interesting. I mean, in hockey, I had plenty. I think it facilitates that kind of mentality, having all of these superstitions. I've seen some very superstitious people in hockey. Not so many in figure skating. With Disney on Ice, we kind of all come together and warm up before every show, and that gives us, 15 minutes to all get on the same kind of wavelength and just prepare ourselves mentally and physically for the show to come. I think the only thing I could possibly say is I always tie my left skate before my right skate, and there's no real reason to it. That's just how it goes.
Well, that's something. I was going to say, it is kind of interesting. Are you left-handed or, any...
Nope, I'm right-handed, and I don't really know. It just kind of became a tradition, I guess. Someone pointed it out. Someone actually asked me, they're like, do you tie one skate before the other? And I was like, no. And then I realized I absolutely did. So I don't know. I just keep it up now.
So anything unique about you that you'd want the fans to know that make you extra Disney?
I don't know. Like I said, my origin story into getting into the show is something definitely unique. Realistically, I made that choice to follow a girl to tour. So, we had dated for a year long distance while she toured around the country, and I just really wanted to be with her on the road. So I made that choice to kind of come over and was willing at that point to do anything to be along with her on the road. So making that transition was very, very challenging, but at the time, very, very worth it as well.
Exactly. I was going to say, joining Disney on Ice for true love, that definitely is quite Disney. And then the way I understand it, you are a very straight-edge person.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely worthwhile and very fitting for a Disney universe, I think.
Excellent. Let's see. What other sports? You mentioned hockey, but the way I understand it, you're also a big lacrosse fan?
Yes, sir. I grew up playing lacrosse just as much as I played hockey. I actually managed to play lacrosse a little bit longer competitively. I was able to play junior lacrosse from 16 to 21 years old. So even right as I was learning to figure skate, I was also in the middle of a lacrosse season. So that was exciting. And somehow I had more bruises learning to figure skate and falling on my face than I did from a fully physical sport like lacrosse.
I'm going to say, traveling so much, do you ever get the chance to go to any MLL games, Major League Lacrosse?
I really, really try. I look into it as much as I possibly can, but realistically, all of those games get played on the weekend. So I'm in Boston right now, and I guess they probably don't anymore, but they had an NLL team
they do.
for a really long time.
Cannonballs
the Boston
or something?
Blades?
Yeah.
Do they still exist?
Yeah, they still exist.
Because we were at the TD Garden where I know that they played previously, and I didn't see any advertising, whereas the last time I played there, I did see their stuff, which made me really excited.
I think they changed venues, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they do. They have a team up in Boston. Yeah, it's...
that's great.
Yeah, the Cannonballs
but yeah, they play they play all their games on the weekends, which is unfortunate because that's when we do most of our shows. So I try hard. I pay attention to the season as it rolls on. We have family friends that are involved in the Buffalo Bandits organization as well. Nice. So I always get the news updates from my family, but it's tough. I travel a lacrosse stick with me on the road, which is also a challenge. I have to take it apart to put it in a luggage to fly, which I'm about to do. And it's tough, but when I go home each summer, I still help out with my old junior team. I help coach and organize as much as I possibly can. I just like to stay involved. I've been involved with that team over a decade now, so it means a lot to me.
Tell us why your Disney contract is one of your most prized possessions.
My most prized possession. You know what? It's tough. It's probably my phone, which is difficult for me to say out loud because the way that people use the phones these days is tough for me to digest. But realistically, it helps me keep in touch with everyone that I know and love around the world. With the amount of travel that I do, I'm not home often, but to be able to pick up a phone and make a FaceTime call or just send a text to family at home, it really keeps the communication going. So it is pretty important to me in that sense.
So what's the future hold for you? What other exciting things?
You know what? I'm not too sure, and that's kind of part of the adventure and part of the excitement. This is my 8th year with Disney on Ice and my 5th year with this show specifically. Disney on Ice has a lot of different shows that'll kind of operate around the world at any given time. I believe there's 9. So realistically, maybe the future sends me to a different show and different opportunities there. But I'm working hard since I've been in the company to kind of develop and grow. Like I said, when I managed against the company, it was a miracle, I'm sure, because I was very underqualified. Just skating with world-class skaters was incredible, but also very intimidating. So I've worked really hard to not let them down or bring down the standard of any show. So hopefully with that hard work, it'll give me, a little bit more opportunity to grow and develop into new roles within the company. But yeah, well, who knows what the future has in store for me.
I was going to say, I'm going to throw one out there because they're related now. That Marvel Live. They
Yeah,
have, I think that could be an interesting one for you.
that would be incredible because I'm a bit of a nerd. I travel more comic books than I need to. It weighs down my luggage, but it's always worth it. And the Marvel Universe, if they ever put it in a nice show, that'd be incredible. And I know they have Marvel Universe Live, which is the arena show as well, but I don't know, to perform not wearing skates would be tough for me, I think. So if they put it in a nice show, I'll be there in an instant.
Excellent. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure at some point they'll have a character that utilizes that you could be a part of because, they do a phenomenal job. And the nice thing is they're all under the same umbrella. The nice lady that introduces me to people from Frozen also does Monster Jam and does that Marvel Live, and it's been great working with her. So tell us about your skating style.
It's a little, I don't know, it's a little rusty. It's not anymore, honestly. I just kind of have this picture in my head of the early years of me being on the road and traveling with Disney on Ice. And, I started with Toy Story 3. That was my first show, and then transitioned over to a show called Rockin' Ever After, and I was there for 2 years. And now Frozen for 5. But it's been a long road, a long journey for me to grow and develop. So when I think of my early years, those were definitely interesting. I was certainly a character skater, so certainly not any finesse or grace really sometimes. Lots of falls, but a phrase that I like to use is it's either good for the show or it's good for the cast. So either you're out there and you're performing and you look spectacular and the show flourishes as a result, or sometimes you inevitably make a fool of yourself, but then the cast enjoys it, and that really lifts morale on those long days. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I can imagine you do have some long days. Some of those Saturdays, 3 shows, and
that essentially means that we're at the building 12 hours in that day, and sometimes we do multiple 3-show days in a week. So we were just in Mexico for a few weeks, and we did what we call a 9-pack. So that's 3-show days in a row. So the schedule gets hectic, but we love what keeps us motivated each day.
And is that why energy is so important in the show, to be able to keep your attitude positive?
Yeah, it's definitely challenging at times. With the schedule being as busy as it is, and the days being as long as they are, we also travel, up to 9-10 months out of the year without a break, without going home, without seeing family. So we're pretty lucky in the sense that we have a cast of 40 and 16 crew, and we also travel with our vendors and our staff. So there's a big group of us, and we kind of come together to form what we call our tour family. So we kind of have that support network and just work really hard to bring each other up and, keep the energy high. And it's lucky that I kind of came from this team background, because traditionally speaking, figure skating is usually a solo sport or pairs, or, the rare occasion you'll have a team, but usually it's by yourself. So coming from hockey and lacrosse, just being able to have the instinct to try and lift everyone up and keep everyone's morale and energy high, and it's really served me well.
One of the things I think is really fascinating about this show is I understand it's the 90th anniversary of Mickey Mouse, so there's going to be a special. Is that before the show, after the show? How's that work?
Yeah, so we're celebrating 90 years of Mickey, which is really, really exciting. And basically it ties into the beginning and end of our show, because Minnie Mouse, along with the help of Donald and Goofy, kind of come together to surprise Mickey to celebrate his 90th. And they go through this exploration of love. So Minnie brings out all these characters that display different types of love to show Mickey, that she loves him in similar ways. And that's how we kind of get these tie-ins with the different Disney properties. So, we have princes and princesses, but we also have, Buzz and Woody and Timon and Pumbaa and a handful of others. And that kind of leads us right into the Frozen story, because it is unique in the sense that it has this exploration of love in a really different sense than most Disney movies have explored in the past, and this love between sisters, between siblings. And I think that kind of premise for Frozen is what made it so approachable for so many people and so relatable.
Excellent. Well, I'd like to thank our guest, Jack Stevens. Before we let you go, where can fans find out more about you and the events on social media and the web?
Yeah, if you guys want to come check out the show, that'd be incredible. We want to fill the seats. We want everyone there because that energy, that audience participation and interaction is what really keeps us going as performers. So if you guys want to check out the show, look for tickets at DisneyOnIce.com or the local box office, and we hope to see you guys there.